Today's video was originally filmed and published over on our Broncos Breakdown channel here at Chat Sports. So for all you Broncos fans watching right now, be sure to check out the Broncos Breakdown hosted by yours truly. Now, let's jump into today's show, which is all about third-round draft targets for Denver. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about some potential draft targets for Denver without a first or a second round pick. The mock drafts, let's just be honest, they're not as fun, right? So we're going to just kind of focus in on some dream draft targets for Denver in round 3 because they have back-to-back picks at 67 and 68. So 40% of their draft picks will be made within 5 minutes of each other. But hey, that's fine. They still can make some trades, move back, get some more picks. That sounds way more likely than them moving up without any picks to get offered to move up. So if you don't remember, here's what Denver's working with in this upcoming draft as of right now. 5 picks, 67 and 68. They got the 68th overall pick from moving back last year so the Colts can move up and draft a safety. They got a 4th rounder, a 5th rounder, and a 7th rounder. If you're wondering or asking, hey, who could they move up and get? What are they going to move up with? More picks for next year? Probably not. And you're not getting into round 2 selling off garbage like a 4th, 5th, and 7th and bundling that together. Like, teams aren't interested in having a bunch of late day 3 picks for one good day 2 pick. So, with that being said, I do want to remind you guys, what is Denver looking for in the draft? Well, let's go to the horse's mouth. Here's what George Paton said. There are a number of positions we feel like we could strike, whether it is a cornerback, whether it is a pass rusher. We feel like there is some depth in the middle round. So, if George is talking about looking at cornerbacks, let's start with looking at a cornerback out of Alabama. This is cornerback Eli Ricks. So this is some dream-ish realistic draft targets in the 3rd round. And we start by looking at Eli Ricks coming out from Tuscaloosa. Originally started his collegiate career in Baton Rouge with the Tigers, but the cornerback from Alabama is 6'2", 188 pounds, so above average size. Now, you're going to hear a ton of cliches over the next a month or so. The 2 cliches you're going to hear a lot of are great speed, great athleticism, and awesome size. Size is, a lot of that's what she said's going on right now. But the only position that really matters the most for size is probably quarterback and cornerback. Because a 6'1" corner and a 6'2" corner, well, that's the difference of a pass breakup or a touchdown. So 6'2", that definitely catches my attention. He's a former 5-star recruit who plays well against bigger receivers, and that's very nice to see. He does have an experience issue. He's only played in 15 games the last 2 seasons. He missed some time with LSU, and then last year with Alabama, he did not play a full season. So he's missing some key starting experience. But in 2022, for the Crimson Tide in 9 games, 13 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 4 pass breakups. Those numbers might not jump out to you. But when you look at what he did in his career between LSU and Alabama, 44 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 10 pass breakups, 5 interceptions, and 2 touchdowns, by the way, to go along with it, all in 23 games. That is a lot of potential in a small sample size. Now, NFL draft guru Lance Zierlein wrote this on Eli Ricks. A long-limbed cornerback with an impressive physical profile, Ricks is in need of more experience to sharpen his skills and recognition. He is a press man cornerback with a relatively smooth pedal and ability to push and punch receivers with accuracy from long distance. He's often a step slow to find top gear when opening to run laterally or vertically, but he's a human blanket against short and intermediate routes without much wiggle to them. Now, where would Ricks fit in? I think he'd be competing with Damari Mathis for CB2, which when Denver drafted him last year out of Pitt in round 4, they have expectations for him to be a starter the next year? Probably not. I'm guessing they planned on holding on to Ronald Darby, but the ACL injury and the cap savings were just too much to hold on to. So now you could have a camp battle between Damari Mathis and Eli Ricks for that other outside corner spot, which you got to admit, it would be pretty cool if Pat Surtain and Eli Ricks, 2 Alabama players, manned the no-fly zone in Denver. So what do you think the Broncos' biggest need is, though, right? Is it cornerback? Is it pass rusher? Is it something else? Let me know in the comment section below what you think Denver's biggest need is going into the NFL draft. All right, we got some other guys to look at here. We're going to group these next two together. It is Wisconsin edge rusher Nick Herbig and from USC, Tuli Tuipulotu out of Southern Cal. So let's start with Herbig here. So Nick Herbig from Madison, he's a little bit undersized. He's 6'2", 240 pounds. He does have 3 years of starting experience as a 3-4 outside linebacker. So that does offer you a bit of intrigue that he could be a good fit with the Broncos, who run a 3-4 defense. A very interesting stat that I wanted to share with you all, over 26% of his tackles resulted in a loss. 1 out of 4 times he made a tackle, it was behind the line of scrimmage. That's pretty cool. That is a very productive player if you ask me. Now, as for Tuli from USC, great size, right? 6'3", a little bit taller, a little bit bigger at 266 pounds. He offers you some versatility as either a defensive end or an outside linebacker in a 3-4 front. He's a very good raw product with excellent strength and athleticism, as one anonymous AFC South described. Now in 2022, if you want to compare these two guys head to head, they both had phenomenal seasons. Look at Tuli. 22 tackles for loss, 13.5 sacks. Herbig not far behind, 15.5 tackles for loss and 11 sacks. Now in their career at their respective schools, very high motor productive players, right? Oftentimes in the draft, you see guys who don't have maybe the greatest stats, but they've got awesome potential. No, these guys were awesome in college, and it could very well carry over. Okay? Herbig, like I said, 21 sacks, 0 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles for each player. So we're going to look at the Broncos front 5 now, and you can see where they could potentially slot in. Zach Allen, DJ Jones, and Baron Browning, and Randy Gregory, they're locks to be starters. Jonathan Harris right now, with no Deshaun Williams returning at the moment, he'd be the other starting defensive tackle. So you could move one of those two guys at that opposite spot from Zach Allen, or you could wait for Randy Gregory to get hurt. Like, those are your two options right there. Now, we're going to get to more draft targets in just a brief moment, but we've got a brand new draft channel here at Chat Sports. It is our NFL draft channel. Make sure to subscribe. Head on over to youtube.com/chatNFL. When you get on over there, don't just do all the boring cliche subscribe notification stuff. No, go above and beyond for me, please, and spam Broncos in the first video you see. That way, the bosses here at Chat Sports know, okay, Broncos country fucks. They actually do answer the call. So do me a solid and head on over. Moving on to our 4th third-round target. This is safety out of FSU, Jammie Robinson. So the Florida State Seminole, 5'11", 191 pounds. He is just a baller. I mean, I'm not going to stand here and talk about, oh, his awesome athleticism. No, the guy's a football player. He flies across the field. He is a ball hawk. He loves to stop the run. Usually DBs hate stopping the run, right? They don't want to be involved in tackles. They want to do interceptions and pass breakups. Jammie, the opposite. He loves coming up to the line of scrimmage and blowing up plays in the backfield. Doesn't have great top-end speed. That's why he's not necessarily a first or second round guy, or awesome coverage skills, but the guy is just a really good football player. Originally started his career at South Carolina. Then he went over to FSU. But in his career, 15.5 tackles for loss, 16 pass breakups, and 7 interceptions. He has done it at a very high level at the collegiate rank, and I don't see a reason why that can't carry over to the NFL. Even if he doesn't have an awesome RAS, I don't care. I'm not drafting track stars here. I'm drafting football players. And Robinson is a darn good one. Now, where does he fit in for this Broncos safety room? If Kareem Jackson, and we're filming this right now during our live show on Tuesday, has not re-signed with the Broncos, I don't know how confident they feel about Caden Stearns coming off that hip injury, so there could be an open spot at the strong safety position. Our final draft target. This one will get some clicks. Hendon Hooker, the quarterback out of the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. So a 2-year starter for the Vols. He threw 58 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. That is an absolutely absurd, out of this world touchdown to interception ratio for any quarterback in any conference at any level. Now, he is coming off an ACL injury, as we all know. He's also a borderline Brandon Whedon-ish. He's not 28, but 25's not young either. So he has shot up draft boards lately. Apparently, GMs and coaches have been raving about their one-on-one meetings with him. But I'm telling you what, if you just put on the tape and see what he did for Tennessee the last 2 seasons in 24 games, 6,000 yards, 58 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He doesn't just have like a bazooka of an arm. He's extremely accurate too. 68% completion percentage downfield. Yeah, he missed 1 or 2 deep balls, and some call Tennessee's offense with Heupel a bit of a Mickey Mouse offense. But the guy just put the ball where it needed to be time and time again. I mean, he sprayed Alabama for 5 touchdowns. Plus, he's also very good with his legs. There is no reason why Hendon Hooker cannot carry that over to the professional level. So, Hendon Hooker, in my eyes, whether it's with Denver or another team, he's going to be a very successful quarterback in the NFL. I do believe that. QBs in this draft, they're the ultimate wild card for Denver. Like I said, when you only have 5 picks in the draft, everyone's got to count, right? You really can't afford to pick one at a position that you don't need. Now, I'm all for best player available, but best player available gets watered down when you only have 5 picks to make. If George and Sean Payton fall in love with a quarterback, don't rule out them surprising everyone, picking a quarterback, having him sit for a season, potentially take over from Russell Wilson next year if things don't go well with Russ in 2023. Just keep an eye on the quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. So be the GM for me. Do you think Denver should draft a quarterback? They've spent a lot of money in the quarterback room as it is, right? Russell Wilson's contract, casually, Jarrett Stidham, 2 years, $10 million. Like, that's not nothing money. That's a good amount of money for a backup quarterback. So, should they pour more resources and assets into it? Let me know Y for yes or N for no down in the comments section below. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, making us a part of your day. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Hit that big red button and sub and get the best Broncos coverage all year long right here at the Broncos Breakdown.